Okay, so third up. Let's plug the YouTube here. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me today for the biggest tournament we have hosted yet. An insane $100 cash prize split among the top 3 for our first OU tournament we've had in quite a while, actually. Joining me today is the wonderful Finchinator. Finchinator, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, apparently. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Looking forward to this whole big tournament.
It's going to be awesome. You just smoked me in monotype. I'm man enough to admit it. You just smoked me with the greatest bait that I've seen in a minute. But
it's my new main tier. I'm adding it to my Pokemon resume as we speak.
And yeah, so the thing is I'm trying. I say it every week, but I should repeat myself. So we're trying to get newcomers in here because I think there's a big difference between just playing around and screwing around the ladder versus playing an actual tournament setting, having some money on the line, having some sort of conditions that make it a little bit more serious than usual. I think it's a huge help in terms of improving and taking games seriously. And a serious game, you're always going to be taking greater steps towards improvement, in my opinion. And so if you're a newcomer, don't be afraid to hit me up for teams. You know, somebody asked me on YouTube the other day is it okay if we use sample teams or YouTuber teams or whatever, and I said, like, of course, that's what they're for, is to help out these newcomers and have an easy resource. I'm told that the person who submits the sample teams is pretty good at Pokemon themselves, actually. Is that you, Finch, who has the sample team forum? Is that you? Oh, okay, so it's not someone that good. Okay, it's someone mediocre then has the sample team for him, so that's fine.
There you go. So I some of these names are actually like really big names.
Yeah, why don't you break down some of the tops, or not the top seeds, but names that jump out at you?
Yeah, Bruno from E4 used to be known as Kratos Mana. He's one of the most creative, fun Smogon players to watch. He's been kind of playing on and off for a number of years now. He's a good friend of mine. I don't know how seriously he'll take this, but very good player. Bush Tush, my brother, also very, very good, accomplished Smogon player over a couple generations. Aladdin, actually, I played in the World Cup of Pokemon last night. I just barely edged him out, but he's a great player as well.
Yes, I recognize that name, yeah. I've watched a lot of Elodo's replays. They bring some fun teams.
Yeah, Loden's great. Met Gala, I believe that's Snaga, who's a lower tier player, very, very solid as well. Serene Grace is an Indian player, really successful in Little Cup, and also had some nice plays in OU. He actually played it in SPL, which is a big tournament.
Serene Grace, I want to be honest.
One of the better Brazilian players, played for probably 10-15 years now at a high level.
Serene Grace and I have beef because I wanted to say I was the best LC player on Twitch and on YouTube, but then Serene Grace is just clearly that, so we have beef.
No, Serene Grace is probably one of, if not the single best LC player, period. Vileman finished in the top 4 of the most recent Smogon Tour, which is amazing. He's hands down one of the more impressive improving players. He's been around for a while too, so he's great.
Wow. So we already have some shooters in the bracket already.
Some really, really, really great players. Easy also is in the current World Cup Pokemon on Team US West. Great player.
Okay, so I think we're at 9:02 here. I think we're ready to start the tournament. Let's get going here. /tour start. Now, Finch, why don't you tell me what tournament game you think looks most interesting? Because you have a better eye for what the notable players are. If there's any games that are jumping at you, is a good one to watch and for us to commentate?
Well, let me click this magical pop-out button and do a scroll down here. Fodex versus Bush. That looks like a good game there.
Let's watch it. I got it.
Yeah, okay. No, so just some backstory. Both these guys are really great players. We got Bush just here, who he plays in the World Cup for Canada.
Okay.
We got Hyoga here, who played in SPL for Brazil, so it's really cool seeing them paired up in the first round. You don't really think that's too likely there.
So any early matchup notes that are jumping out at you here right now?
Yeah, I'm just looking
Seems
through
to me
the
that
others right now quickly. It's hard because obviously there are a lot of really great players that you might not recognize quite yet in the first round. It's not always possible to see two people that maybe would kind of stand out as, oh yeah, you definitely want to see their game against each other, if you will.
Right.
Yeah. But given that, I'd say this is a big one. Also,
well, let's watch this Bush Dish Hyoga one. We can't watch everything. We just gotta pick one at some point here.
Vabo and I have the best sand team, and that actually looks like a pretty solid sand team. And Vabo is also a really good player, so there's that.
Well, I'm hearing this Hyoga one. So we see the early Tapu Fini take 30% from discharge.
Yeah, and Combine Fini, it looks like it's an offensive Combine Fini, so you don't see that every day.
Was that really early?
Lele looks kind of like it's kept in check here by this team, because what a lot of people do against Tapu Lele is they pivot in their Slowking, and then they get,
the Slowking huge.
That's a big play there.
Huge double switch. Now here, if you're the Kartana, who are you picking to move for? The Heat Ran or for the Landorus? Leaf Blade or the Swords Dance? Oh, never mind. Oh, that's a huge problem. Heat Ran is got to be forced to swap to Zapdos, and the Zapdos sack. Now Kartana's even getting more attacking boosts. Looking for Discharge proc 2, of course. Not Discharge, sorry, Static proc here, and they get it. Huge. So Kartana's super limited. It was looking unbelievably scary at this point. Now you can revenge kill with a Dragapult or...
later on in the game. But all of a sudden, Bush just is way behind because while Dragon Ball could have revenge killed this regardless, the next time Kartana got in, it still could have gotten a kill, you know? So
exactly.
now all of a sudden, it's only going to be able to get a kill every time it gets in against the Slow King.
So Heat Run's going to take, what, 30, 40% here? Yeah, 30% there. Now we see a swap out to Slow King, I'm going to guess. And do you double switch here if you're Bush Tush Finch? Looking to beat that Slow King.
Yeah, so I double switch Kartana. He goes for, boo!
Safe Earth Power, safe Earth Power. That's an easy skull to teleport there, or even a Future Sight. So now, I mean, again, this is the thing with teleport. It's just so controlling. Is you feel like you can't even swap out at this point.
Well, you can. Well, actually, it might not be toxic if you're Bush Tush here because my guess is that this is the Rocker and it's got a fire move. So he's probably just going to stand on the Earth Power predicting the teleport. But Hyoga's going to see that through, go for the Skull Down. Yeah, it looks like Hyoga's got a more controlling position here. And now Bush Tush is kind of grasping at straws at this point. Going Lele on Slow King is really bad because it can just slack off anything here.
It can, yeah, exactly. It can take multiple of these Moonblasts and Psychics, right?
Calm Mind Lele still isn't going to be able to win this game here with Bisharp being there and Psychic Train eventually wearing out, and also Dragapult there to revenge kill it. So you're really hard pressed here if you're Bush Tush. I don't think he's going to be able to come back here, honestly.
What do you think is the most likely win con here for Hyoga? Or sorry, for Bush Tush. Sorry.
For Bush Tush, the win condition would be somehow forcing Chip onto the Landorus team winning with Zeraora. Because Zeraora is going to be able to kill Heat Trance, going to be able to kill Slow King, going to be able to kill Dragapult, Bisharp. It's just the Landorus T there. So let's say the first time it gets in, it clicks knockoff. Landorus T takes rock, it takes knockoff. Then if you can force that a couple more times, maybe there's a chance, but I'm not thinking that's going to be likely. I think Hyoga Fodex is good enough at game management to prevent that from happening at this point.
So Hyoga from Brazil, right?
Yes,
Brazil?
Hyoga Fodex is from Brazil, Bush Tush is from Canada.
Oh, Adrenaline Orb Kartana.
Getting rocks onto Landorus T. Oh, and it's Adrenaline Orb. Wait a second. That's cool.
I love that. That could have been really damaging before, too. I mean, of course, they went for the revenge kill earlier on the Kartana with the Dragapult, but...
if he didn't get static there, then this actually kind of just won. Like, if you think about it.
Right. I mean, especially if you actually get the boost up, right?
Yeah, no. I mean, if he clicked Sword Dance as Landorus T came in, if it didn't win, then it would have had to take, like, a +1 Leaf Blade or two -1 Leaf Blades. And that alone means that afterwards, Zeraora probably won. So that kind of put the game in Hyoga Fodex's favor.
I once did a live with an Adrenaline Orb Zapdos Galar, and it was so frustrating because I recorded
Wait, that's a humongous crit. All of a sudden, Bush Tush is back in this game. Hold the phone. Stop everything. That's
wait, because yes, now the Zeraora is back in it. You're right. Hold on a second. Zeraora is in this.
I don't understand why he kept Landorus T in there. I think his play was always to go, even if he loses Heatran, but I digress. Obviously, Dragapult's going to be able to take out a weakened Kartana, but now, all of a sudden, after taking another round of rocks, this is in range of knockoff.
It's a free knockoff right here.
Heatran, after rocks, it's a roll for it to die to close combat. Wait, is it Flame Body Heatran? It might be Flame Body Heatran.
Is that a thing? You're kidding me. That's
it
not
is
a thing.
It shouldn't be, but it is. And no Flame Body, yeah. And I think on this team, he's too weak to Volcarona for it to be, thankfully.
They don't risk the Sucker Punch there. Knockoff goes off. There goes Heatran.
Now you can get Lele in and click Moonblast until it's dead, basically. So, like, look how much this Moonblast is going to do to Slow King. It's going to do a nice...
Another huge crit.
Yeah, and now I think at this point, given that Hyoga Fodex played his Landorus T really poorly, I think that Bush just has the game in the bag at this point.
What a swing. That's a perfect example of...
why you play games out.
Well, exactly, right. It's a perfect example of like how RNG becomes... it's a situation like a blue shell in Mario Kart where it's like this RNG that you can like grasp onto and look for like a late game win con. Is it like fair? Maybe not, but is it still a means of skill for Bush Tush to find that win con of critting the Landorus and actually hitting it? Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that Hyoga Fodex kind of showed, and for those of you who don't know, he's more of a old generation main, so maybe he showed a little bit of rust here in the new generation, so that's pretty tough. Because I think a more experienced SS player probably would have said, okay, I need to keep this Landorus T healthy at all costs because the Zeraora, and he just didn't do that, so that was pretty tough.
Big Bisharp, not even take it to Landorus.
Even if your Intimidate procs the Defiant, then Psychic Drain's going to negate Sucker Punch's ability to take out either of the last two Pokemon, so it's going to be a moot point. But it doesn't matter because the Sucker Punch isn't going to quite take out Blender's T anyway, and Bush just is going to prevail in what was ultimately a pretty solid close game.
That was a cool game, yeah. So, Hyoga, of course, not out of the tournament. It is double elimination. They can totally make a huge run in the losers bracket. That's kind of the fun of this, is seeing such a shooter like that just completely tearing through the losers bracket already. We've already got some people who are reporting some losses here, but don't sweat if you guys lose. It's a volatile format, shown at the best of times. Even, you know, a really, really good player here like Hyoga can go out, so don't sweat if you guys go out early. It's just always meant to be in fun in games here. But any other games that you're got an eye on so far, Finch, that you and I can watch?
It's a guy called Free Rent versus a guy called Sillybilly 444. And I know they're both relevant because Free Rent is using the avatar for someone on Team US West in World Cup, and Sillybilly is using the alt of someone on the classiest for SPL. So that means they're two like actual tournament players, but they're both on alt. So I'm not sure who they are, but they both look like they're using good teams and they're good players. So.
Thank you for the sub there, Snappy Garchomp. That is actually Snappy Garchomp, the person putting the $100 down here. So hey, thank you for the sub so much.
Oh wow.
Snappy Garchomp. Everybody give Snappy a huge bird up for pretty much sponsoring this whole tournament. Put it on their back here. Okay.
Oh, can you not join? There you go.
Yeah, so why don't we start from the start here? So, first turn.
The start of this game is basically just going to be a couple of the handshakes of the metagame. We're going to see a knockoff here, stealth rock there, teleport there, you know?
Feeling each other out so far.
Yeah,
it's funny how Tangrowth always remains
happen.
relevant, especially grass is such an interesting defensive typing, I've always thought, because like on paper it's one of those cases where like if you look at just the numerical number of types it resists versus the number of types it like is weak to, it doesn't seem that great, but it's just that amazing water fire core here. Of course there isn't a water type on Free Rent here, but it's just always such an interesting defensive force in every metagame I find.
Yes, I agree, and it really obviously depends on the team and the context of the metagame. There are just innumerable factors that come into play when it comes to construction of any given team and any given play style, but in this case in particular, that's very much of note. Yeah, so we're getting to the point where they're kind of just exchanging blows.
Right.
We see the Dragonite getting off some nice damage with Earthquake after a predicted pivot, but Mandibuzz was able to remove Rock, so that both in hand well went nicely with both. But then Heatran's going to come in a little later, and I don't want to play spoiler, but it's going to get some status, which can come in handy a lot here. Ooh. So definitely some moves being made.
Earthquake. You know? Mandibuzz comes. Now, right now, what is the most common set for Slowking Galar right now?
So there are two different ways on this team. It's probably going to be either Nasty Plot 3 attack with Shuka Berry, or it's going to be the Assault Vest variant. Now, in the early days, we saw a ton of Assault Vest because it was great at checking Pheromosa, which came in handy for it. It also did well against other common special attackers, which came in. It was huge, you know, able to really put them at bay. But nowadays, we see more things like, say, Dragapult, which can do it super effectively, or Tapu Koko, which can U-turn out of it. So maybe it's a bit less effective with Assault Vest, despite still being viable. And
does Assault Vest run Earthquake or Scald nowadays?
Really... Sorry?
Does Assault Vest run Earthquake or Scald nowadays?
Earthquake more often than not, just because Heatran's a dominant force in this metagame.
Right.
And you'll see here, both teams have Heatran, and actually, if you get a little later into the game, you'll see the Heatran attacking at each other, which is pretty, you don't see that every day. It's an interesting trade.
So we're seeing the Mandibuzz. We're still on turn 20 here. These players are playing it quick, actually. Fast and loose. Dragonite, they keep getting them for the U-turns on the Dragonite, trying to break that multi-skills. We see Tangrowth come in, taking an Earthquake with quite ease. Still Regenerator distance here. Tapu Koko will come in on the Heatran double switch. Very cool. Heatran coming back in, as you kind of alluded to there, Finch. We know they're going to try to kind of duke it out right now. And Earth Power, of course, that makes the speed tier of Heatran always an interesting question, because you can outspeed a Heatran. You're an opposing Heatran. That gives you a massive advantage with an Earth-type attack. But it's going to dip out there on the Magma Storm.
Yeah, and there was an over-prediction there, which is going to prove pretty costly, because we've got one Heatran sitting there pretty with Protect plus Toxic and all the way at 100% health, and another one that's all the way down below half now.
Now, where do you side on the Magma Storm versus Lava Plume debate? On your average team, are you putting
on teams that have something like Feature Sight, or teams that have Pokemon dedicated towards abusing the presence of Tox Specs, I'm always going to lean towards going Lava Plume because it has more PP. So you can't get PP stalled by something like Sub Corviknight, which otherwise you'd rely on Heatran to beat. But like Sub Bulk Up Corviknight is always going to outlast Magma Storm Heatran, just because you only have 4 Magma Storms. Odds are one of them misses, you know, that whole ordeal. That's not good. But on teams that don't have something for trapping Tox Specs and they really want to abuse that presence, you always run Magma Storm. Now, there's also this interesting theory where if you already have your Stealth Rock somewhere else and you don't need Toxic, you could actually run both Magma Storm and Lava Plume. And what's really cool about that is you can run Lava Plume earlier on in the game, and then they're like, oh yeah, I can switch my Toxic in safely because it's never going to get trapped. But then you reveal Magma Storm later, and you end up getting the trap kill anyway, so you kind of get the best of both worlds. That's more of a
so
niche
intricate.
Set.
I love that.
I'm just popularizing myself little by little on the ladder this generation, but I think it's a really underrated concept, if you will.
That just shows how useful it can be to eliminate a Toxapex early, where you'll run like an extra move on your Heatran just to bait it in at that point.
Yeah, but also we're noticing right now that we're probably seeing less Magma Storm Heatran. This game is probably an exception because the team that Sillybilly is using is a team that was built a couple of months ago, I believe, back when Dragonite was being popularized initially.
Okay.
But that aside, we're seeing less Toxapex than ever before because Slowking versus Toxic matchups inherently favor Slowking teams so much. You're giving them free future sights into prominent attackers, and you normally something like Urshifu Rapid, Toxapex will counter, but when there's a future sight looming over its head, suddenly you can't use Toxapex to switch into it at all. So yeah, that's a huge problem.
Well, slow kicking something in so frequently. There's so many future sights hanging in the air nowadays. It's just a huge chunk of the game that's just divided off where Toxapex can't come in because it's just hanging over it. You also can't even swap in on the turn before because it just forces to swap the turn afterwards too. It's not like just the turn where the future sight's going to land, but it's also the intervening turns where it could put you in just an easy fork situation there too.
Yeah, so the metagame is actually getting more and more offensive, and it's funny because people love complaining about stall. When in reality right now, full stall teams are actually really bad because future sight plus attacker, there's no way to truly counter that in the long haul. And a lot of people are saying, oh my god, we should ban future sight, blah, 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 blah. But if we do that, that would open the floodgates for a stall team. So then we get to this interesting philosophical debate where maybe it is pretty limiting, but it forces proactive play, and I think that's healthy. And I think that's even being shown a bit in this game because whenever Slowking gets in, you kind of have to brace for impact on either side, if you will.
It sets the pace for a metagame in an offensive way, in a breaking way, which is interesting, and it creates all these. I find it interesting interactions too. I mean, I've always been pro future sight teleport. I don't know, where do you land on teleport in general? If let's say Toxapex isn't in the metagame, right? How do you land on sight port in that case?
I personally wouldn't ban Slowking. I wouldn't ban future sight. I wouldn't ban teleport at this point in time. However, if I were to ban any of these elements, it would be teleport. If only because I believe that teleport
so good.
He's the most fundamentally uncompetitive of the bunch. Regenerator is fine. Slowking Slowbo is fine. It's just teleport allows for seamless switching with Regenerator Pokemon that allows for so much leverage in games. But I don't think it's broken. I think it's just the closest to that of the bunch. I wouldn't ban any of it right now.
I think I saw a calc. I could be mistaken. This is just from when I was playing Monotype that you can break a Mantine. Of course, it was a Fizz Death Mantine with Urshifu close combat, like a 2-hit KO, as long as you have future sight support, which is crazy because Mantine seems like it should be so well equipped for that. Completely walls Urshifu Rapid Strike under normal circumstances and has a ridiculously high base for def to handle future sight too. But it just goes to show that there's almost no counter for that combination right there. A strong fighting type and future sight is just
close combat should be doing around 40, so it wouldn't be shocking if 40 plus 40 and then you do only 20 with future sight. I think that's more plausible there.
It's just it's crazy. It's just such
an
excellent combination.
But, I mean, the same can be said for Toxapex. Toxapex is going to only take 25-30% from an adamant choice band to close combat, but future sight's going to put it into a KO range always.
Well, and also even beyond the typing situation, always leads into like the mixed. It's essentially a mixed attacking offense in itself too, where you might be able to take the close combats on one side, but the future sight never works out either. Yeah.
Ooh, and here we're going to see some risky turns there. Heatran's going to stay in on Slowking a little bit later. I think they're probably caught up around 49-50 now.
Yeah.
So we saw in the last game there where Heatran tried to trap the Slowking, but it didn't quite get away with it. This time, it's going to go for rocks, not trying to get too greedy, but it's going to take a Scald in return. And then, playing on the more offensive end, Free Rent is going to go to the Urshifu, risking the Scald burn, and thankfully he's going to get out unscathed. And now, Slowking's got to be scared of the U-turn here. But the thing is, Coco can come in here, and Coco doesn't really mind the U-turn. But if he goes for a stab into the Coco, then that could be bad. But thankfully, he predicted it well, so now Sillybilly is going to retain some semblance of momentum at this juncture of the game.
Still a third of Coco's health, but Coco doesn't look so good in this game. I mean, between Slowking Galar and admittedly Heatran's quite low, but Zera Aura is limiting a little bit too. I guess Mandibuzz is quite so low, so you might not need Coco at that point going forward either. But it's speed tier alone is looking most threatening for Free Rent here, where all these bulky Pokemon who would be okay with it otherwise, like Tangrowth and Mandibuzz, well, not Mandibuzz, and Heatran, they're just getting really low at this point. So Zera Aura is a good play here.
Coco oftentimes isn't a threat at team preview. Same with Zero Aura. But as the game goes on, just given that it's fast, it has boots, it has U-turn, it eventually becomes a threat, and it has sneaky good longevity. And the same can be said for Zero Aura here, which, look, Zero Aura is still at 100%. That Landorus T is now under half health. And it's also relied upon as a defogger, so it's going to have to come in liberally. Take a knockoff there. Is it going to be punished with an Earthquake?
Oh,
no, it's not. Big turn there for
big play.
Suddenly, the Zero Aura is looking like it's going to outlast the Landorus T. The last line of defense against the Zero Aura is going to be the itemless Dragonite, arguably. So that's pretty huge.
They swap rocks, not on Sillybilly's side, now on Free Rent's side, but another U-turn on Shifu, breaking the multi-scale. Who do we see coming there? I mean, Dragonite's kind of a really annoying for Free Rent, isn't it?
It's Mandibuzz that's going to have to heal up. This Dragonite's just
it walls Dragonite too.
Very threatening, forcing the toxic Mandibuzz's hand. And that Mandibuzz getting toxic by the heat turn earlier on was a humongous piece of progress there. So, yeah, I almost wonder if he was scared to go Slowking Galar in it because he might not be Earthquake on this variant, which it kind of is why I think Earthquake should be more used, you know?
Because Tangrowth is harder for Sillybilly to swap around than this really low health Mandibuzz here. But now we see Slowking versus the Kartana here. I mean, again, that Tangrowth comes to mind. Yep, that's going to be the play there from Free Rent. They're going to come in on the knockoff. There goes the Rocky Helmet. They're really low. Is this a Scarfed Kartana? I imagine so, because it's not a Scarf Landorus. Looks like it's a Scarf Kartana.
I think that's banded damage.
Is it? 32 is a lot.
Bulky, you know what?
It will force a swap here regardless if they're choice locked, I got to imagine. In which case...
Well, the Tangrowth can threaten it with the prospect of Focus Blast, but when you're running Sleep plus Knock, I'm not sure if it's going to fit that or not. But I think Dragonite's always the play anyways. Yeah, we're going to see both of them switch.
Good double switch there from Free Rent. Love that. Still has yet to drop an attack in this entire game, so we still don't know what it's doing. I imagine looking at the makeup of this team that's Assault Vest, but I could be mistaken. Yeah. Mandibuzz coming in here, gets the defog off. It's going to be huge because their defensive core is so weak right now in health. That's going to be able to nice come in without those Stealth Rock chipping away at it here. Kartana coming back in. If it's banded, that could kill at this point.
Well, you always go Tangrowth first. If it does Smart Strike, then you could just double back out. Actually, Heatran is low. Yeah, no, you can probably get a kill here with Smart Strike. Whoa, we see a switch there from Sillybilly. That's crazy.
Slowking's going to come in here.
So all of a sudden, that's a free regenerator for Tangrowth. Now Free Rent has a lot more positioning space.
Gets Kartana off their ass. That's huge. We see a... I don't know. What do you think Tangrowth clicks right now? They don't often... I'd be surprised if they're running Giga Drain, is it?
Some on Leaf Storm, actually. Just to, like, get a kill on, like, some things, but...
We have people asking who the commentator is. We gotta read the stream title here, gang.
I don't know. Who's the commentator? Who's this random guy talking on Nathan's stream?
Some fraud Luxter.
Some fraud lobster?
Lobster, can you imagine?
Lobster.
It's the most off-base chirps of all time. So it does have Giga Drain, proving me wrong. Chipping down the Slowking substantially. Now Slowking's coming in at like 60-some% here.
The smog on Godfather? This chat is popping right now. Your stream chat is very nice, I must say. All very nice people.
We've cultivated a great stream chat here. I'm very lucky.
All the respect for everyone who supports Nathan, who's doing an absolutely amazing job, of course.
Well, I'm no fraud lobster, but...
Fraud lobster. Can someone define fraud lobster?
The Slowking v Slowking matchup here. Again, we still have yet to see Slowking Galar pick a single play here. Just a means through which Free Rent is operating double switches. They both exchange future sights. Okay. Now, just the presence of future sights means that it's probably Assault Vest, right? So there's no teleport risk here. Yeah, it's going to teleport themselves out. They're looking for a poison there. They don't get it. Kartana gets in for free with a big, terrifying banded knockoff threatening them right now. Only swap is looking like...
Yeah, but also, future sight is looming overhead for Kartana, which is going to put it very low, so...
Right. It's going to put it in a close range. I mean... Who's the rocker on Free Rent's team? Heatran's having a hard time getting it at this point too.
I don't like that.
Oh, it actually kills! Oh my god! That's a crazy swing right there. So the knockoff doing only 18% is stunning to me personally. We do get a free swap in for Tapu Koko, which is still looking scary. Slowking Galar has got to be an easy swap in at this point, which gives you a U-turn, I guess, for Tapu Koko. But now, how are you breaking Slowking Galar? I mean, I guess it's just got to be Dragonite and Landorus at this point. But Dragonite can't even Oko with an EQ.
I think that Free Rent still is not out of the doghouse here.
I mean, I think this Tapu Koko is still really scary.
Yeah,
the problem
exactly.
is just-
Because look at the health of Heatran in range. Zeraora is at full, but Zeraora is the win condition here. He really has to make the most out of this Zeraora. And because of that, I don't know if it would be well advised to switch it in on the Dazzling Gleam here. I think he's got to go Slowking Galar. But Slowking Galar invites in the Dragonite every single time, and the Dragonite's a big threat. So
that's what I'm thinking is the Slowking Galar is really the crux matchup.
Galar, that's huge. You see, that's a great U-turn there, and that's gonna. But that invites in the Dragonite. Yeah, exactly.
I think it's such a crux matchup is the Slowking Galar. If Sillybilly can take down the Slowking Galar, this whole game blows wide open. And how much damage does a Banded Aqua Jet do against Tapu Koko? Would that kill at this point? Or is it even in that range? How much damage are we looking at there? Is that a threat?
If it's Adamant, it does 44 min. If it's Jolly, it does 39 min. So it's in range for you.
It's definitely in range. Okay,
whoa,
there you go.
Whoa. We see rocks, but it stays in. Sludge Bomb is not going to quite take it out. That is big there.
This is a huge crux matchup right there. So
Rocks going up with Mandibuzz being... Mandibuzz is dead now.
Yeah, you're right. Oh my god, yes. Mandibuzz dead now.
But
not as important with Kartana. Landorus is also really low, though. It's worth noting.
Yes.
Which is so essential. I mean, it's now getting 2-hit KO by knockoff here from Zeraora. So this is a huge, huge threat. But Tangrowth being low, in addition to Mandibuzz being, yes, you're right to point out, completely dead at this point. These Earthquakes are going to become very difficult to swap into very soon. Heatran, of course, dies. Urshifu is going to die to 1 EQ at this point, especially with Rocks up. Slowking, of course, dying. So this is getting really, really scary for free Ren. This is going to be extremely close. Dragonite coming back in on the Slowking. Reset the music.
Do we know if it's Volt Switch or Bulk Up on the Zeraora? Oh, it's Toxic, so it's not Bulk Up. Okay, I think that Sillybilly's Dragonite's favored here overall.
It'd be really hard to break. You're right. Yeah, actually, forget the Landorus. How Zeraora's gonna have a really hard time versus this Dragonite. Yeah. Of course, completely walls Urshifu. Flamethrower for the Tangrowth. EQ for the Heatran. Free Rent realizes this as well. Looks for that Sludge Bomb, but now they're super low. Do we see a sack on Mandibuzz right now? Just get a free swap in. His Tangrowth is not thrilled about that either at this point. Full Roost up. Of course, risking a full Poison with Sludge Bomb, which is quite likely proc, but of course, this Dragonite's got Heal Bell, so they're not so concerned about that there. Mandibuzz is the sack right there on the Flamethrower. They're looking for that switch to Tangrowth. Free Rent sending it on the Zeraora right now. This is absolutely their own win con right now.
But it's not going to do enough. It only does 33. Yeah, it's a
33.
Dragonite.
They pretty much need a crit right now, right?
He's going to need more than a crit. A crit max damage, probably.
Toxic as they die on the Roost, actually. That's just getting a Heal Bell there.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting play. Looks like it's mostly over here for Free Rent, though. So close. Tangrowth coming in on the EQ. Take 7%. Do you Heal Bell here if you're Dragonite? Do you Flamethrower? They opt for the Heal Bell, knowing that Tangrowth can't do too much to them. Sleep Powder. Okay. Those scary Pokemon. Sleep Powdering on the Heal Bell is actually an insane flex. Can we talk about that?
That is a good play, but I don't think it's going to be enough, unfortunately, in this situation.
See Heatran come in. Free Rent close to running out of their timer here. Desperately running the calcs. Only got Lava Plume. I'm curious to see what the rest of the set is, but they get Rocks back up. Also going to limit this Heavy Duty Boots, less Dragonite right now. All these Regenerator procs are going to add up on Tangrowth. Tangrowth up to 57% here. Tangrowth going back again, looking for a Flamethrower on the Wake Up. Do we see it? We do see it, which is just a fun little turn there. Of course, it's a 50-50 right now. Again, there's a Flamethrower on the Heatran or the EQ on the Tangrowth, which once again, Free Rent's going to get correctly. So upon a swap out, they're now back to 100%. They're going to go for another Sleep Powder here, maybe the Burn. Burn's going to kill, right? No, it's 6%. That's right.
Not quite. No, we are
Bring
not
on Gen 5.
12% burns, but that gives Zeraora a chance to capitalize with a critical hit on a long sleep, maybe.
Yeah. You're right. Do you go to Landorus here if you're Sillybilly? I don't think you do, because Dragonite taking too much next time it comes in.
Yeah, no, you got to stand in risk.
Oh, so it might all come down to sleep turns here, everyone. This is crazy. They are going to swap to the Landorus. Wow. So they get one on the Plasma Fist. The follow-up knockoff will take it out here. No defog here on the side at all anymore, so Rocks are staying for both sides the remainder of this game here. Dragonite next time it comes in, taking an extra 25% though, of course. Yep. So here we go. I guess they ran the numbers in their head and they thought they'd rather have 25% less health on their Dragonite in exchange for the Intimidate.
Critical hit.
Do you think Urshifu's got Ice Punch here? It's possible. If you're worried about the Ice Punch, you've got Slowking and Heat Ran to take that. Tapu Koko's down to a loose sneeze at this point, so it's not really an option at this point. What do we see? Oh, of course, Dragonite could just wake up right away. We do see the Surging Strikes, actually. They're looking for a swap on Heatran, maybe? Or they're trying to chip this Dragonite down so it's in a better range for the Zeraora. We see a Roost, yes. Oh, that's looking super rough for Free Rent here all of a sudden. Free Rent almost completely out of time, at a desperate time crunch as they U-turn out to the Tangrowth, looking for another EQ. They get it. They're getting all these 50-50s completely right versus the Dragonite, Earthquake, and Flamethrower combination. So they get another one right for the road. They do. It's nailing everything right now. Again, is a Fire versus Earthquake decision right now. They get another Toxic on the Dragonite. It's so crazy to see a Heat Ran not to be the Dragonite, but it's just the nature of a bulky D-Knight. Here comes Urshifu, trying to force them to not roost up here. Force an attack. Yeah, Surging Strikes. Only maxing at about 18% here, it looks like. As Dragonite opts to no point in roosting. The EQs to get another hit off.
A second here. Can a critical hit close combat? I don't think. No, never mind. Yeah, I think we're fine still.
Think? So what do you click here? Roost? Probably, right? Yeah. Oh, it's a
Wait.
What? What?
The Heatran wins. Heatran wins. That's why.
Is there no close combat on Zeraora with Toxic?
Yeah, but keep in mind, look how healthy the Heatran is. Zeraora's close combat's going to do about 60-65 pounds.
Looking super low. Yeah, you're right. Oh my gosh. The taunt. This is Free Rent's last stand. Yep. So you're going to see... Oh, yeah, it's got to be Heat Ran here. It's a leftover Heat Ran, so you got to shoot your shot right now if you're Free Rent. You don't think we need any more health. They do opt for the Tangrowth swap, actually. On the Earth Power, this Tangrowth is just a magnet for ground type attacks right now. They'll die here, so trying to get Slowking, Galar in a free swap in right now. But it does have Earth Power here, so it just looks like it's... No way it takes an Earth Power. Oh my god, it does! What's it got back?
Wait a second, why would he faint? Wait, that's a huge choke from Sillybilly.
They get the Earthquake off with 6% health. Zeraora's looking...
First off, why would you not protect that for the free leftovers?
Yeah.
Second off, why would you stay in if it is not a 100% chance to
Free Rent your time. Free Rent your time's gonna run out. Did they time out? Oh, they got their turn in. They
didn't time out.
Sillybilly's good.
Completely ruined his chances of winning this game, it looks like. He's gonna have to protect here, get leftovers, then get the kill, then protect in front of Zeraora, and then hope he's mustered up enough health to live a close combat, which is gonna be a roll.
What's the roll? Let's look it up right now. So Zeraora.
It should be Jolly Zeraora versus no defense, max HP Heatran.
Zeraora versus Heatran. We're looking up the thing right now. Close combat 58-68. So 49 plus 2 procs of leftovers gets it up to...
it's gonna be 3. Think about it. He's gonna kill.
Right.
So he's gonna protect this turn.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Then he's gonna kill it. He's gonna wait.
Oh, the future sight.
Wow.
Let's go. So another Earth Power here.
Yes. So that means it's only gonna be 2 leftovers after all. So it's gonna be a roll favoring the Zeraora. Unless he thinks that Future Sight is gonna do less than Rocks.
Yeah, what is the number?
I think he's gotta go for. I think he's gotta go for it here. Yeah.
Here we go. So the roll is close combat 58-68. It's 61.
Unless he's not
75% chance to Oko if they go for it right now.
Case.
Oh my gosh, so close. It's funny, Sillybilly's timer's gone completely down. At one point, they had like 2 full minutes of timer. Now they're all the way down to 10 seconds.
And it kills. It takes
Zeraora gets there. Holy shit. What a game from...
The issue is here that he's going to give the Zeraora the Electric Train, so even if the Slowking had a chance of living, it won't anymore, and that's going to be game. Sillybilly probably threw away his chances of winning by risking the Heatran. Man, what a crazy circumstance.
We actually chose the best game there. That's insane. That went back and forth like 12 times.
Yeah, and I mean, look, this was a 106-turn game, but you can't say either team was stally or this was a stall game. It just happened time after time after time again, so... I know a lot of people prefer games that maybe are 30 or 40 turns, but this was one intense game right there.
That was insane. Oh my god. All right. What game are we watching next here, Finch? Oh, there we go.
Oh man, this is definitely
Trick Room from Stinker versus a Heligo offense here on Vabo. Vabo's AVI is also sick right now, by the way. I like both teams a lot. There's a lot to love. We haven't seen any Zapdos Galar or Heligo the whole tournament thus far. Even Mandibuzz, we actually haven't seen that much at all.
I faced this team on the ladder before, the Trick Room team. It completely owned me before.
It takes a big man to admit that. Now, I like the Zapdos.
I'm 0-4 against this with my hyper offense. It's not pretty.
Now, I'm not sure who to cheer for. Trick Room's pretty pog, but on the other hand, Vabo brings the Zapdos Galar, and we haven't seen a lot of bird ups on this stream, so I think I'm going to cheer for the bird up.
I got a feeling Stinker's going to win this game.
You think?
But this is probably specs.
So here goes the Heligo. Great lead match versus the Hatterene, assuming they've got a poison attack. You do have a swap in with Melmetal that resists both the Heligo dual stats, but they're going to have to power gem instead.
He didn't even fear the Sludge Wave. He just stayed and said screw it.
Big balls right there. They're going to stay in, go for it. I can't imagine a Psychic kills the Heligo now. It's got so much Bedef, but I don't know. Hatterene's really strong, so my head calcs are just not ready for this situation. Ferrothorn's a normally pretty good swap in, but Hatterene normally equipped with the fire move too. I would probably predict a Slowking here, if anything. Can teleport afterwards, set their own pace. Although Stinker, I would be surprised if they double switch to beat that Slowbro in turn, or Slowking in turn. Gonna hit Hippowdon. Actually, that's a dual that resists both dual steps there too. Pretty cool play. They're gonna Healing Wish to get some sort of pivot. Aggressive, but I like it. That's gotta be Crawdon here, I imagine. Maybe Cress. I don't love Crest though, because it's more of a defensive Trick Room setter. You brought Crawdon for a reason, it's to break these grounds. So we'll probably see it and maybe a Trick Room afterwards. We'll see. Stinker's thinking about it. Thinker Bobinker. I don't love Melmetal on this crab. On this Hippowdon. We'll see a Crab Rave, everyone. Crawdon's in.
This is almost definitely going to be Choice Banded Melmetal, so any damage on the Ferrothorn means that's just going to bash everything in.
Yeah, you're right. Pharaoh's going to come in on the Swords Dance. Knockoff won't kill, but it'll do a hell of a lot.
With Life Orb, it might kill.
For real? Damn. Adaptability is just built different.
If it's a power with Ferrothorn, it's going to outslow it, so it'll kill it.
Oh.
But it's max Crawdon to Trick Room, so maybe it doesn't. I'm not sure.
True. I mean, wouldn't the Crawdon be spec for min speed? Body press not going to do it. As we see the knockoff go up, does Oko. Finch is absolutely correct there. Is it Life Orb? It is. It's going to die to sand right here, which means you're in a new lead matchup situation. We have to predict what your opponent's going to go to right now. As Finch pointed out, Melmetal's looking scary and scary as this game proceeds.
Yep. Yeah.
So there we go. Melmetal will take one. I imagine Hippowdon will take one too. But it's getting really scary. It has 2 at KO situation. Rocky Helmet is going to do all kinds of damage. Shit. Flinch! That's such a funny thing. You never see double Iron Bash flinch because Melmetal's always so slow unless you're in a Trick Room situation. They're going to smartly pivot out to their Porygon right here to renew the Trick Room. Although they catch Hippowdon on the slack off. Pretty cool. This Hippowdon's going to be tough to break though, especially with Rocky Helmet. It's not... They actually smell metal pretty well, all things considered.
Isn't the Healing Wish going to come into play?
On the Cresselia, you think? I could totally see that. See a teleport as Porygon stays in and does... No, wait, there's Ice Beam, right? Oh, they teleport because they're mid-speeded, I guess? Yeah, I guess that's the case.
No, on the Melmetal. There.
Oh, the Healing Wish. Yes, yes, of course. Man, Healing Wish is...
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You're right. So do you see another flinch? They're probably going to recover right here. Love it. Love it or list it. List the Hippowdon. So, swap-ins are limited. Serene Grace Melmetal takes the field. This thing is absolutely menacing at the best of times. When you're getting flinches on your best counter, it gets even worse. Man, I think you're in a position where you're probably sacking the Heligo, honestly. It's not doing too much with this terrible defense.
Keep staying with the Hippowdon.
You think? I guess it's not healing up on anything now.
You can go Nihilego here, or Slowking. Either's fine.
I think it's sacking the Heligo. It's not doing too much to Cress. Wall by Porygon, letting them set up for free. It's probably getting OHKO'd by a Poltergeist from Marowak Alola. That's my play. We'll see. Rifle says they had the exact same thing happen to them. Double flinch. That's awful. I could probably count on one hand the amount of times I've seen Melmetal flinch anything because it's just so naturally slow. You never get the opportunity to attack first. Of course, that's the implicit goal behind throwing it on the Trick Room offense like this. Well, not to mention it's also just very slow and very strong. But it's just so funny to actually see it work out this nicely. There goes a Powdon.
Keep your Powdon in.
Here comes Slowking. Fishing for an attack right now. Probably a Scald Burn. Would really change things. Of course, there's another Healing Wish on Cresselia, probably. Here. Sorry?
Well, actually, no, you just teleport here if you're Vabo. So,
yeah.
Maybe you go Crest as a mid-ground here if you're Stinker, Bobinker. Yeah. You can even just double Iron Bash this to get chip on it for later. But ultimately, I think that the play is to go Cresselia because it's going to be teleport. And if you go to Porygon 2 into teleport, he goes Galarian Zapdos. Yeah, so watch, he's going to teleport here to Galarian Zapdos.
But you got Regenerator here, so can you stay on a one Zapdos attack?
You should be able to live a Zapdos close combat and get off a Trick Room and then fodder. And then if he goes close combat, then you go hard Marowak. But then it comes kind of predictive oriented with
a double switch situation. Yeah. This is anyone's game for sure. No one's out for the count. But those Hippowdon flinches didn't hurt. That's where things get interesting, though. The Hella goes to play, actually. This surprised me. I'll be very curious to see what... Yeah, I'm going to be very curious to see what Nihilego reveals right now. Vabo's, I got to imagine, way too good of a player to go to this for no reason. So there's got to be something that they're clicking right now. That benefits here. Again, the Regenerator on Porygon means that it's absolutely striking anything off. Okay, there goes Eviolite, I guess, but like, I don't think that's very useful long term. Now you get a free swap into Melmetal. If you lose the... Okay, they're going to predict that double switch. No, they're going to teleport instead. That's right. Melmetal's still fine here, isn't it? It's Bane. It's doing so much. You get to flinch again. 30% is nothing to sneeze at, as Vabo's learned the hard way. Yeah, Melmetal, they go into it. There's no answer. It's 2KOing everything. I don't think I've ever seen Melmetal 6-0 in quite this fashion. Oh my god, that damage. Do we see a flinch?
You know, I'd say I'm surprised, but I can't say I'm actually surprised.
Yes. I love it. The content. Just think of the content, Finch. Here comes Slowking. Porygon gets the same shit. You gotta teleport here. You gotta teleport. The Future Sight, I mean, not quite gonna do it. I mean, they just kind of lose to... Do we have Ice Beam on Porygon?
Go back to the Slowking. Oh, teleport predicting the Slowking. Gonna get the
There we go.
Alola, and Poltergeist is gonna win the game.
What? What a game.
It was a game. Pokemon was played.
Reveal itemless Slowking says that's actually pretty funny.
This is itemless Slowking. I will inhale the rest of my bag of goldfish.
Just hear Finch quietly muffled rage in the background. All right, there it is. We are into grand finals. We built this the whole tournament, our longest tournament yet, our biggest prize yet. Congratulations to Stinker, Bobinker, $10. I'll have to reach out to them afterwards. Let's Slow Dance and GGGD are going to compete for the 70. Loser takes home a nice consolation prize of $20. But still, this is it. This is for all the marbles. Of course, we'd be remiss not to point out, Finch already has, that GGGD is heavily advantaged. They are in the winner's bracket. They're going to lose twice here. They're both very competent players. They've actually, GGGD themselves has looked nigh unbeatable this whole tournament. They've had some really, really strong sets. We haven't watched all of them, but they're in winners finals. The results speak for themselves right now. What the hell am I looking at?
There's a Blastoise, and that looks like it kind of wins, actually.
You did not just say those words.
There's a Blastoise, and it looks like it's going to win. It has Terrain Pulse, probably.
It's probably not. It's probably Shell Smash, Surf, Ice Beam, Train Pulse.
Let Slow Dance is God's gift to clickbait. So, extremely HO, more traditional HO than we've seen thus far with the Shuckle Hyper Offense lead. GGGD brings pretty classic looking team. I think we actually saw this. It's been a while since we were in the winners bracket, but I think I remember this team from back then. Very solid, very safe. Not a lot of bad matchups. They think to themselves, there's no way I'll run into a Blastoise. There's simply no way. It's impossible. Here we go, grand finals. Let's get the music popping.
So we're gonna probably see a
Place your bets.
By an encore, I guess. Speaking of followed by an encore, rather, he's gonna defog here. He's gonna encore him into defog. That's gonna give him a free setup opportunity, or it's gonna force Corviknight to switch out. So either way, that works.
Probably Web's here, I'd imagine.
I think you go for another hazard here.
Yeah.
And if he just continues to stay in the defog, yeah, he's not going. He's gonna go Garchomp. Exactly, that works.
I would hate that 50-50, yep. Garchomp does look scary for this team, though.
Yeah, well, you know, when you use Sticky Webs, you don't really have switch-ins to Pokemon, but that might be an Air Balloon Aegislash.
Good point, good point. That'd be pretty commanding. We see... No, there's no way. I was gonna say, do we see rocks from Garchomp? But I feel like that's definitely Heat Ran in this matchup. Or Clef.
I think it might be Rock's Chomp here, yeah.
You think?
I don't know if he
Okay.
goes for it here, though.
Yeah. It's at an enticing speed tier, too. I mean, like, we haven't mentioned the Diggersby yet, but Diggersby looks... I mean, with Heat Ran and Corviknight, I'm not sure if it'll pop off, per se, but it's definitely a cool pick. I mean, and the priority, you know, quick attack is handled by Dragapult and Lele. There goes Rocks. Hawks and the Shuckle doesn't really matter so much here. Corviknight's the play. Looking for a follow-up defog right now. On the final gambit, so they're going to deny this defog. Oh my god. Love it, first final gambit here.
So you go Coco here. You go for the electric move. You probably bait in the Clef or the Tran or the Chomp. Wait, he's just going to go for game.
Oh my god. I'm popping off. Where's the
Waiter,
waiter?
he's not going to wait, you just go for another Shell Smash here into the Clef. Yeah.
Oh my god.
And if it's not Thunder Wave Clef,
It's unaware.
Oh, man.
We've seen a lot of it this tournament.
This game's over now. Yeah, this game's over.
Hey Mimi, thanks for the sub.
Ah, boy. That's a spec Aegislash if I've ever seen one.
D-Knight on the EQ. Man. And it'd be one thing if they could have a second go of it after a bracket reset, but boy.
Yeah, this game is probably over. Apple Coco might have a slight chance of winning, but it seems pretty futile.
Plus they lost their
unaware-
hazards for the game. They send it for that one turn because hazards are gone now. Boy. Ice punch off the rip. Is that? Must be super tanky Garchomp to that speed.
Yes, it's a slow tank jump on this team, it looks like.
Lele comes in. Guess you go Egg Slash. Shadow Ball. Hit the Tran with Shadow Ball. Let's get Chip. Blastoise is a good pivot at this point now that it's completely neutralized by Clefable. Speed F drop sucks, but I think we'll probably see a swap out to Clef. Makes sense. Crit, hell yeah. Forces a Soft Boiled. Probably swap into Diggersby? No, Aegislash makes sense. No true answer for Shadow Ball on this team.
Not going to win this game because they're just two Pokemon that are quicker than it. And
There goes
it's
the
sort of
core.
not to work with Train and a Ghost type either, so it'd have to be like an Agility Diggersby to have a chance here.
Yeah, you're right.
And I don't think they're going to give him a free turn to enact that Agility. It would be against the Moonblast from Clef. And the
Yep.
thing is that you probably would need a little more chip on Clef to kill it in one shot, so...
You would have to take multiple Moonblast plus Life Orb, and then you die to rocks plus that.
Thunderbolt to 2 at KO. Oh.
So the win condition right now is Dragonite getting a freeze with Ice Punch on Clefable.
Let's see it.
Freeze wins.
We saw that before with the Ice Beam in that one Trick Room game in the winner's bracket.
Still have one more opportunity to get that freeze. Drum roll.
See it.
No such luck. Bringing unaware Clefable into the hyper offense spammer turns out to be a good decision.
I mean, don't you go for an agility and go for a crit here? Oh, they're just gonna take it out.
Probably
Yeah.
not a-
All right. Well, hey everyone. A little bit anticlimactic. It was hype for a moment there, but that's gonna wrap up our tournament right now. What a long one. What a fun one though. I've never laughed so hard at some of these sets we saw. Thank you guys so much for joining. As per usual, next Monday, same time, 9 p.m. You can set your clock to the tournament you're going to be running every single Monday at 9 p.m. EST. I can't guarantee what the format's going to be at this far in advance. You can always check my YouTube or my Discord for that information. Finchinator, thank you so much, my guy, for joining me. That was a total blast. Even though you have to be up for work in like 6.5 hours here. Or 5.5 now.
Yeah, no problem, man. It was a pleasure. I'm sure I'll be back sometime again soon.
Yes. Hey, there's an open invitation for any of these tournaments here.
Congratulations to my guy Pablo on winning. Let's Slow Dance for making the finals and
Making it fun, more importantly.
fun. Although I'm not gonna lie, I'm definitely gonna be seeing the animation of Clefable dancing back and forth there in my flip tonight, but that's no problem.
I'm kind of dressed like Cleo right now, too. I
Oh my
was
God.
promising what it was.
Oh, make it stop.
Count fables in your sleep. All right. Well, that was so fun, everyone. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be sure to see you next week. Huge bird up, everyone. Nice to see you. That was a blast.